life doesn't get better than this. We've put the past behind us. We have Molly to think about now.
What a bonny wee hen.
Hey everyone, Rascal here.
And Mama, welcome to our channel, Paws On Animation and Paws On Netflix.
Today we're covering Chicken Run, Dawn of the Nugget.
That's
a title.
Yes, and it's been 23 years since
Wow.
the Chicken Run movie released in theaters, and now we've gotten a sequel that no one expected to arrive.
Yeah.
Only this time, instead of breaking out of a chicken farm, they're breaking into one.
Yes. And before we start, be sure to like, subscribe, notification release on future podcasts and on our pause videos.
Absolutely. Thank you for joining us, and we really want to know what you think of this movie.
Yeah,
Be
because
sure to let us know in the comments below.
we never expected this would ever be a thing. We thought it'd be one of those movies that, oh, this is going to be a sequel to something, and then it will never come. But lo and behold, we saw a trailer, and then it dropped on Netflix. All the movies Aardman has done, why this one got the sequel is kind of baffling to me.
Yes.
Because it's like the first one, while it's one of their older ones, is considered one of the best because it was an homage to the Great Escape movie. And really the way the movie ends, if you've seen the original Chicken Run, that's pretty much it. It's one story, happily ever after, that's it. So the fact they made a sequel out of this kind of had people curious, like, well, what else could you tell? The story's over.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I guess they wanted to reverse the story, so instead of breaking out of a chicken farm, they're breaking into one to rescue some.
Yes. This time it was a production between Netflix Animation and Aardman Animation.
Oh boy.
And the thing that's really odd about this is the first movie was witty and smart and fun and tongue-in-cheek and hilarious and different, and it really represented what Aardman is about.
Mm-hmm.
This one seemed like it was kind of like, let's dust off the dusty thing. Let's try to make it relevant again.
Mm-hmm.
Let's throw in a kid, because, you know,
Yeah.
jump the shark.
Yeah,
And,
it's 23 years, I gotta have a kid at some point.
and unfortunately, only 3 people from the original movie voice actors
Yeah.
returned. And one notable, big, huge difference missing was Mel Gibson, replaced by Zachary Levi.
Yeah, who was trying to do the imitation of Mel
For a
Gibson.
little bit he tried, and then it seemed like it seemed like at times he forgot that he was imitating Mel Gibson, and at
Yeah.
times he didn't sound like him at all.
Yeah, then he'd be Flynn Rider or something. It's like, you forgot what character you're voicing?
And no insult to him, love him in a lot of other things. In this particular performance, it just didn't work. And
Yeah.
I think the main reason is because Mel Gibson made it so iconic. I
Yes.
mean, he's just known for this role in the animation world.
Right.
And because of that, I don't think there was much Levi could have done to replicate it.
Mm-hmm.
If he wasn't spot on, then it was going to be obvious.
So that might be a reason why his character was really toned down in here. And now it's because now he's a dad, now he's got a family, and out in a peaceful life. It's not just because of that. I think it's so obvious to people it's not the original person that it's distracting. And for a lot of people, it's okay, we'll just give him a chance. We know they're never going to put him in the movie, so we'll just give Zachary Levi a chance. And I think they just kind of forgot who was doing the voice at this point, and not in a seamless way where you couldn't tell a difference. Like, well, you know it's not him, but we're not going to say anything about it. And
that was disappointing too,
Yeah.
because I think all of us were expecting everyone who was still around to return
doing like Scott Pilgrim,
Yes.
getting the entire cast back.
brilliantly. And then I'm listening like, that's not Mel Gibson, that's not this person, and it became
Yeah.
obvious that the majority were other replacements.
Yeah, which kind of sucked. So, yeah, with the way this one is playing out is that they've been on this farm for, I guess you could say a few years. It hasn't been 23 years like Toy Story, but enough time has passed where the main characters have had a kid. And I guess they're trying to say she's a mix of the mom and the dad, where she's got this brilliant mind, she can figure things out, but she likes to have danger in her life. She wants to do the little stunts and things like her dad. Even before he even told her about him being in the circus, she still had that in her. So I guess then she was a blend of both. Like, how can you be the safety and the dangerous one at the same time? How's that possible? And they didn't really play with that much. They just kind of leaned towards doing the dangerous stuff. It would have been interesting to see how you would balance a kid that had the safety part and the dangerous part together and could do both. And they just kind of have, okay, she's just reckless like her dad, and they leave it at that. And they missed an opportunity to have a different character dynamic where you're kind of confused on which one you're supposed to be.
Yes. And she has Molly.
Yeah,
is her name. Molly is not a standout character.
Not really. You're expecting her to be.
Exactly, because in the first movie, the characters were memorable, especially Ginger and Rocky.
Yeah.
And you thought, well, she's their kid. She's got to be a standout character.
Yeah.
And she isn't. And there's nothing wrong with the performance of the voice actress Bella Ramsey. It's what was written.
Yeah.
And there were some really funny, smart parts we'll get to. But as far as the movie itself, it was 98 minutes. And it seemed to go on forever. And it wasn't in a good way forever. It was a disappointing forever. Now, some critics do like it. Some critics said it represents art and what it is. And I think that it failed on that front because they have some really memorable movies you love. Of course, Wallace and Gromit.
Yeah.
The Pirates Who Don't Do Anything.
Right.
More.
Yeah.
And they're all stand out and you remember them with characters that really resonate, that are memorable, that are fun and delightful and hilarious. But in here, it didn't happen.
Yeah.
Except for a few scenes.
Yeah.
My favorite scene out of this entire movie
Oh, yeah.
is when Molly decides to leave and sneak off. And she's trying to cross the road. And they don't say anything. They just have her standing on the side of the street.
Looking at the
And
road.
I started laughing hysterically, and Ross was like, "What's wrong?" I said, "Look, what? Look at Molly and where she is."
And she's looking down the road.
And you said, "What?" I said, "Why did the chicken cross the road?" And it was just hilarious. That's what I wanted the entire movie. Things like that was smart and brilliant and witty.
Yes, it was. Like, oh my God, she's looking down the road, like waiting, like yeah, to hold it there, like wait till you get it. You're gonna wait to get it. Wait for it.
And that's what I wanted this entire movie. That's what I expected, and unfortunately, it failed. And I think part of it might have been because they did a joint production with Netflix. Maybe Netflix wanted to turn it into something a little different.
Probably.
Maybe they thought it shouldn't be the same, but that's what people who love this first movie were looking for.
Yeah. And with this one, you expect it to be twice as fun. If they were going to do a sequel, do something they hadn't done before. Now, breaking into the chicken farm sound like, okay, how would they do this in reverse? It sounded like they could do something with that. And them having a kid, they could do something with that. But it seemed like they just took the safe route and just repeated what the first movie did, step by step, just in instead of out. Molly just kind of blended in with any other kid of two famous characters. And then when they had the reveal of the villain, it was not a reveal like they intended because it raised too many questions.
And then the worst part is they brought back the same villain from the first movie.
Yeah.
Crazy Tweety or Mrs.
Why?
Tweety.
Yeah.
And
everyone kept
did you
questioning.
Really do this? She shouldn't be in here. Even if you didn't take her out in the first movie, she shouldn't be in here. You wanted a new. Well, first of all, you didn't know if there was going to be a villain or not. But if there was going to be a villain, you wanted a new villain. It was the same old tired rehash performance in terms of what she was doing and how she was going about it. And she just found another fool, Dr. Fry, to be her second husband, for her to boss around, tell what to do, and do the same thing.
Yeah, so it was almost no different from the first movie. And the only thing that was almost kind of funny was that she and Ginger both remember each other. Like, it's the same chicken from before. And then, you're not going to stop me this time. That was the only thing kind of funny. You sure have this vendetta against a chicken. That was the sort of irony part of it. Like, yeah, we know this is kind of ridiculous. She has this grudge against a chicken, but go with it. And there were more opportunities for great parts of humor. But it seemed like the movie just stopped sometimes. And not counting the part with the chicken being on the why the chicken crossed the road joke. That was brilliant. But there were so many points in here where things kind of take too long to get to the point of. Rocky getting hurt multiple times to get in because he just can't do anything really now.
Exactly.
Ginger taking too long to calculate when they were first expecting her to go all out on this. And they said, oh, what do we do? They were expecting a big heist and anything. No, we'll just hide. And they couldn't believe that, oh, you're going to hide? We don't have to do anything dangerous until later. And there's many different jokes and things that they missed out that they just kind of just were focused on redoing what the first movie did, just in and out. There's even one whole scene where Rocky does a distraction and he does a dance. But instead of doing what you would think of like the chicken dance, like make that the chicken dance be distracting, he just kind of moonwalks and Running Man and Gangnam Style and different. And like, why do you just have him do the chicken dance? That would have been perfect. And it felt like they really didn't know how to do the humor in here at all.
So this time, a movie was directed by Sam Fell, screenplay written by Carrie Kirkpatrick, John O'Farrell, and Rachel Tunner. Not familiar with them. And Carrie Kirkpatrick and John O'Farrell also responsible for writing the story. So we'll give a shout out to the voice cast. Tandy Newton is Ginger, and in the flashback sequences, the original actress Julia Swalia.
Yeah,
those were referenced. And
right.
She's still alive, so we don't know why she didn't come back.
Right.
Zachary Levi is Rocky, Bella Ramsey is Molly, Imelda Staunton returns as Bunty, and you had Miranda Richardson returning as Militia Tweedy. And other than that, there were other actors not familiar with: Jane Horrocks, Romesh Ragnathan, Daniel Mays, people we're really not familiar with. And part of it, again, is not the fault of the voice actors. In terms of delivering the comedy, it was the writing.
Right.
And we really expected something different, new, and stand out. This is Aardman.
Yeah.
And that is generally, except for Early Man, that's generally what they've given you in the past.
Right.
And that's what we were expecting at this time. And unfortunately, the movie didn't deliver what we were wanting.
And
the animation had improved.
Yeah, and it almost looked no different from the first one. You can tell it was newer, but in terms of remaining claymation, stop motion, and having that feel to it, that part stayed the same, and I'm really happy for that because, like you said, sometimes there's updating you can tell it's completely different, but I'm glad they stuck with the original style and just added more color to it. And that was kind of the thing with some of the movies in 2023. You had a lot of hits, but there were a few movies that came out that could have been way better or had more potential. And either executives got involved or they just couldn't get everybody back, and that same magic wasn't there from a previous movie, like what happened with here. So it's not a terrible movie. Exactly. It's just, it could have been more to it. It didn't have to surpass Chicken Run and be the next Puss in Boots: The Last Wish. It didn't have to do that. Just be like, hey, this was entertaining and still just as fun as the first one. That would have been completely fine. We're not expecting every movie that they bring out to break barriers or anything. Just deliver something that was worth waiting 23 years for.
And I'm really glad you brought that up because, yes, in case anyone was thinking that's what we were expecting, no. We just wanted it to be just as fun and silly and witty and memorable.
Right.
That's what we want.
That's it, yeah.
And unfortunately, it didn't deliver. Don't know if there's going to be a 3. I guess it depends on...
The ending implies it, but...
The viewers. Did they get as many views as they wanted for
Yeah, let's see.
But for us, it could have been better. And still, the first one is superior, far superior.
Right.
To the second one. So if you've seen Chicken Run 2, Dawn of the Nugget, the title was witty. Let us know what you think in the comments below. If you haven't, it's available on Netflix right now exclusively to watch. Give it a watch. Come back and let us know what you think in the comments below.
And if you haven't already, subscribe for updates and weekly videos, favorite anime series, anime shows, and all things animation.
Absolutely. Thanks so much for joining us today. We really appreciate you. You're subscribing to us and joining us and talking about things that we love and love not so much.
Yes. So thank you so much for watching Rask Entertainment
And then Mom Entertainment.
Have a toontastic day.
Peace.